Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Planet FPL Game Week 3 Deadline stream. And it's live. My name's James, and I'll be answering YouTube community's questions in the hour building up to the deadline, which is around about 59 minutes away. Before I get into the questions, let me take you through some of the graphics that you'll see on the screen. Top right hand corner is my team locked in for the game week. I've made one very sexy free transfer and rolled the other. I brought Zakiri in for Cucho. Honestly, if I could have rolled the fucking transfer again, that's what I'd have really liked to do. So I pulled the plug on the Bruno transfer, and I was thinking to go that way before the Ronaldo announcement yesterday, which has obviously definitely put me off because I need more information in terms of who my potential captain will be in game week 4. So going with 2 threes, I've left Mo Salah in there, which means he's probably going to stay for me at least up until game week 6. Now, it doesn't mean I won't buy Bruno next week. It might mean I buy Cristiano Ronaldo. It might mean I buy Romelu Lukaku. I need to give it some thought. So I've got 2 threes going into game week 4. Quite happy with my team. I've got some problems that could arise. Emi Martinez being one, if he goes and plays for Argentina, is unlikely to be available for me. And I have some goalkeepers in mind. Did some thinking last night of where I would go for game week 4 if he is unavailable. Below that on the screen, you'll see my top 10 captaincy picks for the game week in order of preference. I believe the best captaincy option this week is West Ham United's Mikel Antonio in front of Harry Kane and Heung-min Son. The reason Antonio over the other two, a little bit of doubt in terms of the system that Tottenham will use. Slightly put off by Tottenham's 4-1-4-1 that it was used on Thursday night, which I think could definitely hamper Heung-min Son. I don't think we'll play that system, but it's enough to put me off. And I would say Kane is about 95% to start, but I wouldn't put it at 100%. Antonio will definitely play and is on fire and has a good fixture. I don't need to overlook it. Kane is still very much a differential if you own. It's uncommon that Kane would have a fixture like this, and I wouldn't recommend him as the best captaincy, but I do think Antonio's ahead of him this week. And as I said, just a little bit of doubt on Sonny because of where he may or may not play. I don't like it. I don't like captaining a player where I don't know where he's going to play on the pitch personally. But Sonny can go off, no doubt about that. So those are my top 10 captaincy in order of preference. You've got Antonio, Kane, Son, Vardy, Ings, Fernandes, Ben Rama, Callum Wilson, Mo Salah, Ferran Torres. Struggling to look at the screen. Right. Some other bits about to come on the screen for you now. My predictions for the game week. You'll see them about to appear on the screen to the left-hand side. Those are my correct score predictions for all 10 games this week. That may help you with some dilemmas in terms of who to pick. And also below me on the screen shortly will appear the benching dilemmas for the game week. This screen has 5 pages. It alternates during the stream and gives preferences of who I would pick, an A versus B. So I'll go through them in order for you now, just briefly, so you can send people back to the start of the stream. Tell them minute 3. Tony over Mount, Mount over Pereira, Pereira over Shaw, Shaw over Dean, Dean over Dyer, Dyer over Soufal, Soufal over Ayling, Ayling over Dennis, Dennis over Amati, Amati over Duffy, Duffy over Rudiger, Rudiger over Dallas, Dallas over Smith Rowe, Smith Rowe over Livramento, Livramento over Cody, Cody over Shimikas. Those are the outfield players and goalkeepers. The advice is on page 5. Martinez over Meslier, Meslier over Schmeichel, Schmeichel over Sanchez, Sanchez over Raya. Those should be on the screen for you now. That will alternate as the stream goes on. Right, let's get into the questions for you. Let's see who's first. Mohammed Kamrazaman. Sorry if I mispronounced that for you, mate. Says, morning, James. Good luck for game week 3. Thanks very much, mate. I very much appreciate that. Would help if the benching dilemmas actually did come on the screen. They will appear for you below me in a moment. Edwin Guan says, hello, James. Good luck for this game week. Thank you very much. Reckoner says, looks like most will captain Antonio or Fernandes. Is captain Antonio the safest option for me to cover? Thinking just having Son is differential enough for me. Good luck for the game week. Well, it seems most of the content creators appear to be going with Antonio this week. That will certainly have an influence, as will his returns in the first 2 game week. And I think, you know, the less engaged players are still going to look at what Antonio has done so far. Great fixture. Not easy fixtures for Mo Salah or Bruno Fernandes. Many won't have Harry Kane. Many won't gamble on Heung-min Son at the moment. So I think Antonio will be the most captain player this game week. Is it the safest thing to do? Yes, it probably is. Plus, I'm not overly fancying Bruno to go off at Wolves anyway, as you'll see on my predictions. I actually think Wolves might beat them tomorrow. TJ Powell says, morning James, remember everyone, the answer is most likely on the screen. No one is essential, and delete repeat questions. Don't be a knob. Good luck everyone. Thanks TJ. Why haven't I got you a spanner yet? DM me afterwards, mate. Anthony Hobbs says, TAA and Tony to Dyer and Kane. -4, worth it to get. High cost forward ready for Lukaku and Ronaldo rotating. You can do, of course you can. As I explained on my stream yesterday, I think preference for me longer term is to at least have one premium forward, one premium midfielder to make it easier to jump between these players rather than having 2.5 premiums in midfield and struggling to get to one of the forwards. He's basically just jump all season between Kane, Lukaku and Ronaldo, and in the midfield area make sure you've got at least one of Salah, Fernandes, KDB if he's firing, etc. That's going to be an easier setup, I think. We've got to be so conscious of moving between the premiums this year. So there's definitely scope for saying, yeah, go Harry Kane 3 and 4. Although you may want Ronaldo for 4. You may want Lukaku for 4. There's definitely scope for going for it. I'm not going to say to anybody, don't buy Harry Kane. It doesn't work for me with my setup. Purely for myself, because I'd have had to bin Antonio or Danny Ings, which I'm not prepared to do with the fixtures they've got this week. Danny Ings at home to Brentford. I'm not prepared to bin it this week. And again, doubts in terms of how Spurs will play for me. I think if I had Tony, like you've got, Anthony, I'd be more conscious of moving that around and trying to do it. Dyer is probably the safest Tottenham player to go and get at the moment. I would be staggered if he didn't start tomorrow. But after the international break, that could change again. You need to be conscious of that. Personally, you're not going to catch me particularly bigging up the Spurs defence. I think, what have we had? 44 shots against us in the first 2 or something. 14 in the box against Wolves. We were very fortunate to have 2 clean sheets. But, yes, the next 2 are appealing, and I do fancy us to keep another clean sheet tomorrow. So, yeah, I'm going to say I don't mind the move. What you've got to be very conscious of, Anthony, if you've been in Trent, you're going to find it very difficult to get back. And don't underestimate the power of Trent, because he is highly likely to be the best player at that price, better than any of the mids in that valuation. So you've got to be conscious it might be difficult to go back, that's all. Sheila says, Mahrez to Rafinha worth a hit. In my opinion, Sheila, no, it's not. I think Mahrez will start today, but that's a prediction, and what happens when we predict Pep teams is difficult. I'd be conscious that there's no certainty that Rafinha will play in game week 4. We don't know the situation with the Brazilian players 100% as yet, so I'd be conscious of buying that. Personally, if you're buying a Leeds player this week in that area, my advice would be go Harrison over Rafinha till you've got more clarity. Javier Alcantara says, which one player should I start from? Morpay, Cucho, White, Veltman. Have 2 free transfers. Should I use it for which player? Help, James. So you could do what I did and just bin Cucho down to Zakiri. The reason I've gone Zakiri, all the 4.5s are shit, and I don't think it particularly matters. He has been on the bench for Brighton. There doesn't seem to be signs that they're going to buy a forward between now and the season starting. And there are some rumours that Neil Morpay could move on. And I just think he's as likely as anyone to get the odd 1.8. He's never going to sit anywhere but third substitute as it stands. The simple answer there, Javier, you'll know me from the streams, is play Neil Morpay. No doubt about it. There's a little bit of a doubt on the fitness, but he'll either play or he won't. Veltman's unavailable. That's a certainty. Ben White is highly unlikely to play. It's quite a straightforward one, really. GF says, no question, James. Just thanks for the great content. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Yeah, if you're in the stream, give the thumb a like and the channel a subscribe. It all helps to spread the Planet FPL word through the YouTube community. Juck says, good morning, James, and good luck. Should I hold Gundy or transfer to Benrahma? Got Salah, Son, Greenwood and Rafinha. I'd hold. You're going to get a lot of holding messages from me again today, guys. Another good week to roll. I mean, as it stands, we don't know Cristiano Ronaldo's price as yet, do we? What happens if he's 10 million? I don't think he will be. What happens if he's 14 million? So we haven't got the full understanding or the picture for game week 4 as yet. So, no, that's a good week to roll. Gundogan could well return against Arsenal. I would leave it as it is, personally. Hollister says, Ings and Salah to Kane captain and Rafinha with 2 free transfers. Going to be a no from me. I guess I could make the same moves myself, and I'm not doing it, mates. It's going to be a no. Ripwick says, Dean, hold or sell. I think it's a hold at the moment, mate. We got Brighton away, Burnley at home, Villa away, Norwich at home. This is exactly what I said prior to game week 1, that the problem may be with Luca Dean. You are stuck in this place where you can't sell him because the fixtures are good, and I don't think you should sell him, to be honest. It's a hold for me. Owen Walsh, morning James, good luck, thanks mate. Sean says, any further thoughts around how this international quarantine situation will play out? I don't know. So it's going to be up to FIFA. I think there's a possibility that FIFA could ban all the players from game week 4, which is still better for the Premier League clubs than the players going and playing in the internationals and then having to sit in a hotel for 10 days. Should they miss, the FIFA guidelines are that they can ban a player for 5 days after the international team's last match. So there are some players who could even miss the first Champions League match, potentially. I think Chelsea are the Tuesday night and one of the Manchester clubs is the Tuesday night. So it could even miss first Champions League match as well, if that's what FIFA enforce. And I think that's still better for the Premier League, as I said, than letting the players go for 10 days. The simple answer is we don't know. We don't know. So there is a danger in buying particularly South American players going into this game week, not knowing if they'll be available for game week 4. It is possible that none of them will be available. So in the case of, say, Rafinha and that, no, I can't. I wouldn't be doing you right if I said go and buy him. Do I think Rafinha will do well this weekend? Yeah. Do I think it's right to buy him knowing it is a good chance he'll be unavailable in game week 4? No, can't. And I even think players like Antonio, Jamaica. Ben Rama, I think is okay with Algeria. I think Mo Salah should be okay. Most of the Africans are going to be okay. Most of the North Americans are going to be okay. Some of the Central Americans and Caribbeans are going to be quite dangerous. So like Raul Jimenez is possibly dangerous. Mikel Antonio is possibly dangerous. So we don't have the information. I wouldn't be buying those players. Henrik Jorgensen said, will Ronaldo start most games for Man United in the league and important games in the Cup? What makes you think that Cristiano Ronaldo is not going to be first choice for Manchester United, honestly? Dajoshis man, sorry mate, do you reckon the template will move to a squad structure of Trent 5.5, 4.5, 4.5? God, there's too many numbers there, mate. Premium. Yeah, it could do, mate. It's very difficult for me to read all that when it's so close together. Martin Cumberland, DCL and a 4.5 million defender, or TAA and a 4.5 million striker? Well, it depends, Martin. Do you need that 4.5 million defender to play? I'm always going to go with Trent, personally. On DCL, some of you might have seen some reports this morning that he's a doubt for the game against Brighton. So he's got this ongoing toe issue, which he has been playing through. So I don't imagine there's a problem with him playing today, although there was a small piece on Everton's website that suggested there was a doubt about him. It's an ongoing problem. He's also in the England squad, which suggests it's not a major issue and he's just playing through the pain at the moment. Pete Haley said, hi James, hope all is well. Do we know if Barnes is playing today? I was thinking of swapping Ben Rahman next week. Does it bother you on missing out on point 4? Point 4? Oh, you mean in valuation? Nah, I couldn't give a shit. I mean, if I end up buying Ben Rahman at 6.5, 6.6 because I need to cover it off, then that's what I'll do. To be honest, I'm not bothered about that sort of thing. I don't see why Barnes wouldn't play. I think the only way wouldn't would be if they changed to a back three or a diamond and played 2 up front. But as I explained to our advanced tier patrons on Thursday, I think it's a possibility Leicester could play a diamond and Harvey Barnes might play up front. So, no, I think the relationship with Barnes and Vardy is too important at the moment for Harvey Barnes not to be playing. The whole shift of system last year to a back three came about because Harvey Barnes got injured. So with Perez suspended as well, I would be very surprised if Barnes didn't play. It is possible, Pete, that I may well sell him next week. Yes, that's a strong possibility. Rubik says Ings and Wilson out for Jimenez for a -4, or wait till after the international break to do them for free when the fixtures turn around. Yeah, absolutely. What's the desperation for Jimenez? Just said he is one of the players who could miss game week 4 as well. So it's a wait. Early transfers, not a good idea going into game week 4, guys. Essen said, not a question, but I still want to captain Son instead of Antonio, as this is the week for different options. Good luck to you, James, and everyone here. It's absolutely fine, mate. I mean, we highlighted this week from all of the first 11 fixtures and said game week 3 was punt week. So yeah, this is absolutely the week if you want to go with someone that's going against the grain. I'm absolutely for it. I mean, how often are you going to see Bruno and Salah as low down as they are on the top captaincy picks? I mean, that's my opinion. A lot of people still be going Bruno this week, obviously. So yeah, there's definitely varying options to go for this week. That's fine. If you've got a feel for something, go for it. Don't hesitate. Just do it. Sven van den Acker says, bench one of Ayling, Gray and Cash. Good luck this game week. I think that probably has to be Ayling. Now, I fancy Leeds for a clean sheet, but I think Leeds will play a back three, and that honestly almost locks Ayling into nothing more than a 6-pointer. It's almost impossible for him in that system to get an attacking return. So the ceiling is bigger for the other guys, and that's why it would be bench Ayling. And that's part. I mean, it's interesting. My team, I bench Luke Ayling, Trent, Pereira, and Shaw. I've tipped all three of them to concede, but Luke Ayling not, and yet I've still left Luke Ayling on the bench, and it's because of that. So if someone says, "Oh, well, so why have you done that?" Well, it's the attacking potential of the three defensive players I've got for me wins through. And in case I'm wrong, right? So if Leeds concede, Ayling is 1 or 2 points. The other guy, look at Luke Shaw last week. It's 4 points with goal conceded and no attacking returns. So there's potential in the three attacking defenders I'm picking. Zaris says, should I play Amati or Ayling? I have 2 free transfers the next game week. Any thoughts? Greetings from sunny Greece. Every time is a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much, Zaris. Ayling and Amati. I'm going Ayling. There's not a lot in it between the two. And again, I think Amati's probably limited to the 6 points. But again, on this one, I have backed Leeds for a clean sheet, not Leicester. So Ayling over Amati. In terms of free transfers, I mean, if you've got 2 free transfers, you don't know what to do with it. Fix up some of your shit. Your 4.0 keeper. One idea might be, and I did consider this for Emi Martinez owners, Jed Steer has obviously been on the bench for Villa in their first couple. He is 4.0. So if you're sitting there with Martinez and think, oh, Martinez might become a game week 4 problem, but I don't want to sell him, Jed Steer could cover you off in game week 4 if Martinez misses out. And I did consider that as a transfer myself, but decided it was better for me to put a little bit of extra money in the bank. Ritwick says, stick or twist with Shaw or go with White or Semedo as the fixtures turn for them. I think Luke Shaw is not a sell until game week 5 for me personally. And I wouldn't advise. You've got Wolves away, Newcastle at home. The fixtures for the defensive players that are popular in game week 4 is rough. Like you've got Leicester playing Man City, Leeds playing Liverpool, Villa going to Chelsea. It's quite rough actually. So you're definitely going to want Luke Shaw in game week 4. No thoughts of removing before then. I would certainly be sticking at the moment. FPL Hitman, morning James. Good luck for the game week. Sitting at 40k. Nice. Thoughts on going rogue and captain Salah instead of Antonio, or just stick template? I mean, if you've got a big fancy for Mo Salah to go off against Chelsea, then go for it, mate. Do you? Really? What's the best case for Mo this week? A goal? He can score in any game. We know that. What's the best case? You'd be surprised. I think if you sit down and you think about it, and I said, look, Mo Salah's going to get you 12 points this week. I think you'd be surprised. Just reflect on that and give it some second thought, mate. Joe Finney Bader says, morning, James. I'm off to the game tomorrow. Sun captain. Good luck, Joe. Enjoy it, my friend. Joe is a Watford fan, if you're not aware, guys. Jonathan Brown, would you rather transfer out Dean for Diaz? No, I'd hold that for the moment. The thing is as well, once you've got more clarity on City, Laporte or Stones might develop as a good option at 0.5 cheaper. So I think it's a wait at the moment. And City's fixtures are actually pretty rough till they get to game week 8 fixture swing. Lewis James says, would you play Amati or Dean? I mean, on that one, I would go Luca Dean, mate. You go with the power of the potential attacking returns. Ripwick says Ayling or Livramento. That's Ayling. These are on the benching dilemma screen, guys. Please do have a check of it. Below me, it's going around. Lewis Stapleton says, seriously, why didn't you captain Heung-min Son? He's Tottenham's bro. You also, Tottenham, have some faith on Tottenham and some places. So I'll explain. I explained this yesterday, but I'll explain it again today. So my intention going into this week was always to captain Heung-min Son. It's part of the reason of starting with him. The reason I'm not captaining Son is the influence of, I'm not sure where he's going to play. I think he could play left. I think he could play right. I think we'll probably play 4-3-3. But the final nail in the coffin for me was the system that Tottenham played on Thursday night, which was a 4-1-4-1. And it's the only system we've seen so far with Harry Kane in the team. Now, in that system, the 2 wide points of the 4, which will be Son and Bergwijn or Lucas, have to stay very wide. If that's the case, Heung-min Son's not often going to be a captaincy choice. And actually, he's going to be a sell in FPL. So many of you have listened to me through pre-season, last couple of weeks, will know how big I am on Sonny. I didn't hesitate to start with him. Wasn't bothered about him playing Man City. But it would be wrong of me to not realise that there's a problem. I can't captain a player when I don't even know what position on the pitch he's going to play. It's something that's bitten me before and with Tottenham. So like I've captained Kane in the past and not known what formation Tottenham are going to play. And it's similar this weekend. So I'm going to avoid it. Son will still do me good. It's not like his effective ownership is going to be 100%. Same for those who are with Harry Kane. And I just think Antonio's on fire. Palace have shown nothing to convince so far. He's going to be mass owned, a mass captain this week. It's the safer play for this particular week. Do I think Sonny will score this weekend? Yeah, of course I do. I think Kane will score as well. But I'm going to go with Antonio this week because I just have concerns about Tottenham's system. I don't have concerns about the system hampering us from winning. I have concerns about what the impact is on the specific players. And that's why I just think, till I see it again, I'm going to stay away. I think Tottenham will play 4-3-3, and I'm possibly overthinking it. But what I saw the other night was a very different system. Joe's replying to someone, thanks very much, Joe. Ritwick, Shaw or Dean to Williams to free up funds? Neither yet, mate. If you've got 1 free, it's roll. Finley Farrow, play, question, Trent for either Sufal or Tanganga. You don't leave out Trent, mate. Never leave out Trent. If it's Chelsea way, Man City way, don't leave out Trent. Never leave him out. Mark Robinson, good morning, James. Last man standing this week, Spurs or West Ham? I went with Spurs, actually, mate. Antonino Gitto, hi James. I'm finding myself getting sucked into the groupthink and going for Antonio captain over Bruno. My gut has been saying Bruno captain, but I haven't actually watched Wolves myself. So, as you see on the screen to the left, I actually think Wolves might beat Manchester United this week. It's not a slight on Manchester United. I just think on what I've seen of Wolves, having watched their 2 games, they are much better than what their results have suggested so far. And I think we really, really should be looking at them very strongly from an FPL perspective from next week. They have an amazing fixture run from game week 4 to 14. Might be a spoiler on who my new goalkeeper might be if I have Emi Martinez unavailable. So I think tough game. Now, can Manchester United go to Wolves and get 3 or 4? Yeah, of course they can. Manchester United haven't lost away from home for 27 games. They beat the record if they avoid defeat this weekend. I fancy Wolves will give them a proper game, actually. So for me, it definitely Antonio over Bruno. If your gut's saying Bruno, mate, go with your gut. But on what I've seen so far, Wolves are going to be better than we'd originally expected. Lucas says, should I bench Ayling or Livramento? Again, that's both on the bench in dilemmas, Lucas. Have a little look across the bottom of the screen. Ayling is ahead of Livramento. Chris Port says, start Rafinha or Barnes this week. Fakes for the great content. Different solution, mate. Different solution. How have you got that as those 2 players as your weakest of the 8 forwards that you've got? If you had to pin me down, I'm actually going to say pick Barnes. But leaving Rafinha out is not an option. Joey B93G, morning mate. Start Reece James or Amati. You go with Reece James, I think. Again, because of the potential. Look how high up the pitch he was against Arsenal. I think you go with that. Yusuf says, why aren't you captain? Son, I have him. I've just explained. Keith does gaming. Got Antonio captain this week. Good luck. James98, morning mate. Do you think taking a -4 for Kane means I pretty much should captain him now? Would you still go with Antonio? I still go with Antonio. Yeah, it's a very, very unique situation. How often are you going to get Kane that's sort of under 10%? And that's why it makes it a little bit acceptable. So ordinarily I'd say, look, if you're taking a hit for him, yes, stick the armband on him. But actually it's a unique case where I don't think it's a necessity. Lalo Tree says, hi James, what to do with Barnes and Shimikas? Transfer them in for Ben Rama and Dyer, sounds legit. So I'm guessing you can't just go Shimikas to Dyer. If you've got 1 free transfer, honestly, I'd roll. I don't expect Shimikas to play, I expect Robertson to play. But if you've got the cover, I'd roll. Otherwise, I would consider the boring Livramento or even Brandon Williams as alternatives to Shimikas. Alex Mann says, who are you captain today in Sky? Company between Diaz and Vardy. I'll be on Antonio, mate. Keith does gaming. Should I take it? I would go Diaz over Vardy, I think, by the way, Alex. Keith does gaming. You get to see the benefit of Diaz's playing as well. Keith does gaming. Should I take out TAA for anyone who's a good replacement? Nope. Akshat says, play Ayling or Duffy. I've gone Ayling over Duffy. Partly because I think Everton will score. But it's a close one. There's a lot of them in and around the mid area of the bench and dilemmas are very close. They're kind of 50-50 calls. So I've gone Ayling over Duffy on that. Birth Media, Antonio for Wilson, free transfer. I would say with that, if you don't do it this week, you'll definitely want to do it next week because they've got Manchester United away. But Newcastle don't have particularly bad fixture. I mean, Leeds at home, Watford away, Wolves away, Tottenham at home, Palace away after United. A fixtures Callum Wilson can score in. It's obvious talisman for them. You know the risk of getting rid, but for a straightforward free transfer, yeah. Go with a big man at the moment. Just be conscious. Like I said, there is a small possibility that he could get banned from game week 4 if FIFA have their way. Tim Shannon said Wilson for Tony and roll transfer for double in week 4. Definitely roll the transfer, I think, Tim, if you've got any uncertainties in terms of what you want to do. Wilson for Tony, the only thing you might find with that is kind of what I said, because Wilson's got Newcastle away next, United away next week. You might regret that if it goes wrong. So I'd keep it as it is, but if you haven't got any other transfers you want to make, then fine, go for it. Chris Jarga says, morning James, many at Juve say Ronaldo ruined the players around him. Do you think the noise is unfounded? Wasn't there, mate. Don't read too much into these sort of things. We know he's got an ego. We also know he's a superstar footballer. I imagine going back to Manchester United, he'll be a great and brilliant influence on the younger players there, like Mason Greenwood and stuff. I don't foresee a Ronaldo ego at Manchester United issue developing. Salam Magdi, what about transfer out Dean to Pierre? Pierre who? Pierre? Pierre? Who's Pierre? I don't know who Pierre is. The only Pierre I know is Pierre-Emile Højbjerg and some shit Arsenal forward. FPL selling Josh, morning James, good luck for the game week, mate. Will we see scores start to fall more to the norm this week, or will this crazy season high continue? I think this week could be very low scoring, actually. And I think it's dependent on sort of West Ham, Tottenham, Leicester, and a couple of others in terms of how well they or don't do. Now, I think they'll all win, personally. But I think, yeah, this could be quite a low scoring week. I think clean sheets might be difficult to find. That will have an influence. I think it will depend a lot on what the likes of Antonio, Kane, Son do, as said. I think it could be quite a low scoring week. I wouldn't be surprised the average is around sort of 40-ish this week, actually. One Hassan FPL. Hi, James. Do you think the sign of Ronaldo will influence Man United performance against Wolves tomorrow? No, he's not going to be there. It's not going to have a bearing. You can make a case that it should give them a lift, but does it? Does it put doubt into players' minds thinking, well, he's coming in for one of us next game? You can spin that any way you like. Lalo Tree, do you consider a route for Ronaldo or Lukaku, or it will only be available with wildcard? Yeah, I mean, look, I'm going in with 2 free transfers next week, and I may have other problems like Martinez, Barnes, etc. But it's not inconceivable that I go Danny Ings up to Ronaldo and drop something else. I'd even take a -4 to drop something else to make sure I can do it. So I'm very open-minded about next week. No, I don't think it needs a wild card. Danny Burns, Jota out for Ben Rama. It's a no for me. It's a no. I honestly said hold Jota at the moment. I think he'll play again this week. That 5-6 for Jota could look great. Collins Moura, Mings or Ayling? I think you go Mings. A little bit more attacking threat. Matty says Rafinha captain. I don't hate it if that's what you fancy. Ryan says and start Brownhill or Livramento. I think go Livramento. I actually think Brownhill might get left out of the Burnley team today. Merza says, who is more nailed long term, Duffy or Webster? Thanks, Webster. 200% Webster. 11 I'm Ross Kenny. Nice one, James. Keep up the good work. Sorry, I'm advanced for the Ronaldo question. Is a wild card to get him insensible or look to do minuses? Depends where you're at, what you're selling, right? It's almost an impossible question to answer without looking at your squad. I also don't think it's desperate to get him. I mean, when I bust my team when the game reopens, I'm probably going to bust the captaincy on Mason Greenwood and leave it for 13 days and have a look before we start again. So it might be that I don't even go there. Their fixtures are not great after game week 4, Manchester United. So I know if I go Ronaldo, I'll probably be going 4, 5, 6 and then moving on to Lukaku in 7. Do I kind of want to book in those 2 transfers? I need to give it some thought. And a lot of the news over the international break, transfer window closing, what happens with this FIFA South American issue. There's loads of things can influence what will happen. I don't hate the idea of people wildcarding this coming week with so much information to be gained. I think this week gone was not a good week. But I do think there's a hysteria and, oh my God, we got to react. We got to do this, that and the other. I don't feel like that. I absolutely will not be wildcarding unless I lose 3 or 4 players to injury, suspension and stuff. I'd probably need more than that, I think. James says, hi James, Sarr or Ben Rama over the next 4 game weeks? Own Sarr, don't have Ben Rama 2 free transfers. It's keep Ismaila Sarr, mate. Get through this week away to Tottenham. He can return in the game. I don't think you're expecting it, but he can return. Then there's 3 very good fixtures for Watford, Wolves, Norwich, Newcastle. You hold Ismaila Sarr, keep to, I think, at least game week 6. Leeds away game week 7 is not awful either. So stay with Sarr. You're okay. Hold there. Grekla said, hi James, Bruno to Rafinha and Ings to Kane captain. I have Greenwood as cover for Bruno. I think what you have to do with that is just consider, if you're just going with 1 free transfer game week 4, you're going to find it difficult to get back to a Bruno or get to a Ronaldo. So if I cut you off now and said, right, you're going to captain Greenwood in game week 4, are you okay with that? Or if I cut you off now and said you're going to captain Harry Kane at Crystal Palace in game week 4, are you okay with that? And if you are, crack on, make the moves. As Sheaf said, is Duffy a potential cheap option? He is a potential cheap option. I would highly recommend my coverage that I did of Brighton and Watford on Monday's podcast on why Duffy will not stay in that team longer term. Doesn't mean he won't in the short term. Longer term, he's not going to stay in that team. I'm absolutely certain of it. So it's short term. Can he do you good short term? Yeah, sure. If you think you're going to wild card soon, no probs. Crack on. Buy Shane Duffy if you want to. Alden Bjerk says, good morning, James. I think you've answered my question in the graphics. I can swap Duffy for Dunk in the benching dilemmas, right? Thanks. Good luck this game week. Yeah, similar. I mean, possibly I'd rank Lewis Dunk a little bit higher just because of absolute certainty that he would play. And I do think Duffy will play again this week. So possibly Dunk a little bit higher. Who you going up against? I'd probably put Dunk a little bit higher. I'd probably in between Soufal and Ayling. Probably for Lewis Dunk. Helmy BK, Calvert-Lewin 75%. Okay, listen, this is reactionary. He'll probably play. Arush J, bring in Livramento or Duffy. Need one to play this week. Again, short term, Duffy. Thinking longer term, Livramento. Cody said Duffy or Livramento for Shimikas. It's what you've just said, I think, or someone else has said. So same answer. Cody said, I'm thinking of putting in Alien instead of TAA. Thoughts or don't do it. Spooky Deli Ali question. Great footballer. Andy P, great stream, James. Good luck for week 3. Got Martinez and Sanchez as my keepers. Which way do I go, and do I go Tony over Alien? They're on the bench in dilemmas. I think you go with Martinez this week, don't you, mate? You want to fix that at some point. I think you don't need both of them. Give it some thought. FTLOL podcast. Morning, James. Do you have any targets this season for FPL rank? Not really. Try and beat personal best, so top 20k. But not really, mate. Make sure I beat Suj. Ritwick says Rafinha or Ings or Wilson as differential captain. I mean, from those, for me, it would be Danny Ings. Sagnit says, announce Traore to Spurs. I can't. I don't run Tottenham's social media account. Faram says, can I go Williams for Shimikas? You don't need capital letters as the first thing, mate. And the answer is yes, you can. Noise Brennan, is it worth Captain Antonio? Graphics, stream, everything I've said. T-Tac, start on Buemo or Dean this week? That's a good question. I think at the moment, because of Mbuemo's positioning in as the 2 up front, I think Mbuemo, actually. That's a close one, actually. It's a good question. I think I'd go Mbuemo. Rob Tilson says, hey, James, what's your favourite podcast content outside of FPL? I'm looking for some more general football podcast. Rob, I'm not the best person to answer this question because, quite frankly, I just do not have the time. I don't have the time to take in and listen to other things like I would want to. Sometimes something gets recommended to me. There's nothing that I listen to religiously. Unfortunately, I'm not best placed to answer that question. But there are shitloads. There's some very good podcasts on The Athletic, which are club specific, also tactics specific. So have a look on there. Ryan says, what would you do with Veltman if you had him? That's become a pain in the arse, hasn't it? I think I'd bin. I'd bin if I had 2 free transfers. I think if I'd have been sitting there this week with 2 free transfers, honestly, I could see me going Veltman to White. Just getting that ready for game week 4. I think I'd bin, mate. Daniel Green says, morning, mate. Is it worth getting Ben Rama in for Jota or Greenwood? I have 2 free transfers. I'm going to say no, mate. Stay where you are. You've got two potentially good assets there. Collins Mora, should I bring Ayling if I already have Mings? What have those 2 players got to do with it? Each other? frantically looks at possible links for Leeds and Villa. I don't get what the link is between the two players. Yes, you can bring Luke Ayling in. HK, I don't like capital letters, but I'll answer your question. The Livramento is the best one. Astra says, what you think about removing Salah or Bruno and Tony for Ben Rama and Kane, making Kane captain? Yeah, it's okay, mate. I've covered FPL 0, Ayling, Tony, Shaw, Dyer, 2 start. Never leave out Tony. And I think from the rest, Luke Shaw's got the best attacking potential. So Luke Shaw plays, mate. Zaris says, do you think Kane will steal Son points? Because my first 40 Son captain. I've also Antonio. At first, I didn't like you, but dude, you are really a myth. 25 minutes to deadline, guys. Begin to get those teams locked in. Stephen Moore, Salah to Son captain, and Ings to Vardy for a hit. Wildcard game week 4 for me. Why do we not want Danny Ings at home to Brentford? Have we suddenly I know Brentford had 2 clean sheets against a horrendous Arsenal and a very poor Crystal Palace. Have we decided that Brentford are like this super amazing team defensively or something? I think you're going to find out they're probably not. Removing Danny Ings for a hit when he's got Brentford at home, that's not going to get a thumbs up from me, mate. Jack Bell, I would go Ings over Ben Rama. Ricardo, hey James, first question of the season, bench Jota or Ayling? You play Jota, mate. Joey Crevers, Mane is going out. Which of these options do you like more? Mane to Son, plus a 4.5 mid to Rafinha. Or Mane to Rafinha and a 4.5 million forward to DCL. I think I prefer the getting Son, ironically. But I wouldn't force the Rafinha, as I keep saying. We haven't got the game week 4 info. Now, you might decide that because Rafinha's playing Liverpool, you're not that bothered about it anyway. And if so, crack on. Mula Mane, do you think Bertrand starts over Thomas? Should I start Bertrand or Livramento? I think Bertrand will start. But I don't pick the team. But yes, I expect him to come in. Soccer Uncensored says replacement of Wyatt. I've got a great one to recommend for you. Ben Wyatt. Jonathan Brown says play one of Ayling, Sarr or Bissouma. Thanks. I'll play Sarr. Ashwinar, Dele Alli or Son? Depends who's taking the photograph. He's sunny, mate. FPL Invincibles. Morning, James. Morning. Kunal says, hey, James. Thanks in advance for the help. Is Dyer worth the 0.1 additional over Sanchez or Tanganga? Which one of the 3 is nailed? The Dyer 0.1 blocks me from an upgrade to Calvert-Lewin next week. None of them are nailed. I mean, this week, all 3 of them will probably play. Christian Romero is going to come in that team. Probably for Davinson Sanchez. Tottenham are looking to add a defensive player this week before the deadline happens. Doesn't mean that they will, but they are trying. So none of them are nailed. In terms of this week, probably all 3 play. Sanchez is the probably biggest at risk this particular game week. FPL Invincible says, morning James, Tony to Armstrong for free. I'm not big on that, actually. Tony's still got Villa and Brighton and Wolves next 3. Armstrong's got Newcastle, West Ham and Man City. I'm not big on that, personally. WZ bad player. Will Shimikas start? I don't think so. Killian says, hi, do you think Doherty... Oh, man. No, I don't think Doherty can start ahead of Tanganga. Ashraf says, I want to replay... Matt Doherty. How does he still exist? Ashraf says... Sorry, my wife's coming to disturb me. What's the matter?
I've got questions. I texted them to you.
Oh, okay. You want me to answer your questions?
They're FPL related.
All right. You're jumping the queue a little bit here, love.
I'm married to you.
Okay, that's a fair point. DCL broke his toe or something. Should I dump? No, he's probably fine. Swap Mings for Bamford. Fuck's that?
Mings got like 1 million points last week.
Oh, you mean you want one to start?
Yeah, should I have Mings in?
No. Fuck that shit, babe. You play Patrick Bamford. There you go. Sorted. Who's next? Ashraf says, I want to replace either Salah, Bruno and Tony for Ben Rama and Kane. What do you think I should remove? Salah, but be prepared that you'll want him back in game week 5 is the answer. Good morning, Ray Qureshi. Fly, Flynn, Stone. Any recommendation? I'm on wildcard. My team is... I'm not going through your team, mate. Sorry, I ain't got time for that, but I wish you luck. Basil Norman, is Livramento a guaranteed starter for at least 3 more game weeks? Guaranteed? No, mate. Sorry. Oh, look at that spammer. You're a pain, aren't you? Dynamite Dons, you like Semedo? Under consideration, I would say, from game week 4/5. Under consideration. Jess Kaplan, thoughts on a wild card next week? It won't be for me, it will be for many others. Killian Gubbins will... No, shit, we've done that one, haven't we? Did you really put that in twice? Tanganga struggled against Wolves. Okay. Tanganga ain't going to play against Adama Traore this week, mate. And how badly did he struggle? I think he walked away with a clean sheet. Nonis said play 2 between Ayling, Duffy or Livramento. For me, that would be Ayling and Duffy. Caldera, Jota to Rafinha. It's a no for me. Cormac, Lukaku captain, surely a better pick than some on that list. Go on then. You captain Lukaku this week. Good luck. Enzo says James, Soufal or Amati. You play Soufal, mate. WZ bad player. Jota could be rotated a lot with Firmino. Yeah, of course he could be. Rahul says Delhi, Gray, Tony, bench 1. Gray, Ginger Silver, is DCL a risk as his toe injury? Yes, he is. I think he'll play. Hal Jam, should I start Joe Willock or Danny Ings? What is the issue with Danny Ings? He's got fucking Brentford at home. Ashraf, I want to bring in Kane, but I have to remove either Salah or Bruno. There's more chance you want in Bruno next week than Salah. That's what I'm going to say. Reece Sharple, should I put Duffy in over Trent? No. There's not an option where I'm ever going to say leave Trent out. Robaldinho 7, do you think Barnes will play today? Yes, torn between him and Rafinha. We've done that one already. Sean Cadian, Cancelo or Diaz, and Jimenez or Pereira, Tierney and DCL on wildcard. Wouldn't go for Tierney. I'd go for cheaper Arsenal, to be honest. So Pereira over Tierney. Diaz is going to be safer over Cancelo. I don't know where Jimenez finds his way in there. And what your comparison, Sean. Sorry. Alex Perry, hello, mate. Would you do Salah to Son for 2 weeks, then reverse transfer? If you're blessed to be in that position, Alex, yeah, I don't mind that. My original thinking going into this week was Salah, Bruno for 2, and then back to Salah. So it's very similar. Yeah, that's fine. Quinton van der Bergen, morning, James. Thanks for the insights. As always, would you start Livramento over Jota? No. Benching Livramento now would imply never playing him in the future anyway, plus possible risk of Jota blanking. No, play Jota, mate. How Jam, Ings, William Doyle, Amati over Shaw, watch the thoughts. You haven't got Luke Shaw to suddenly be scared of Wolves away. Play Luke Shaw, mate. Faris LC, hi James, which 3 would you play from Trent, Soufal, Shaw and Ayling? The first 3. Kieran O'Bale, panicking over my transfers this week. I'm thinking about wildcarding Kane, worth it. If you're panicking, don't wildcard, mate. You're going to make mistakes. It's quite simple. I get this every year. People tell, I'm thinking of wildcarding 15 minutes before the deadline. Please don't do that. Because you're going to make so many errors in your team. And wildcard because you want one player. No, don't bother, mate. Adam says bench 1 of Stones, Trent, Amati. Well, I would bench Amati, but we don't think John Stones will play. We think Laporte and Diaz. Judging by Guardiola's comments after the game last week, he said that Laporte would play again against Arsenal. So I don't think it'll particularly matter. Reece Sharples, I brought in DCL this week and he's injured. And he's not definitely injured unless someone from Everton has said something in the last hour. He is doubtful. I think he'll play. Gareth Payton, should I stick with my pre-season plan and captain Son, or go with you and the crowd and captain Antonio? No pressure. If you're going to follow me, you're going to go Antonio, aren't you? Again, my pre-season plan was captain Heung-min Son this week as well. And I just think the circumstances changed a little bit that it's not worth the gamble. Can Sonny outscore Antonio this week? Yeah, absolutely. But I don't think it's a risk I need to take to go against Antonio right now. Omar says, should I transfer out Lukaku for Kane for a -4? In my opinion, no. Because Big Rom can score in any game. Craig Robbins says, cancel playing. Yes, it's probably a good idea, mate. Fred Jones, how about Zakiri? I explained at the start the reason I brought him in, and it's not particularly important. Alistair Hargreaves, Ings out for Antonio or DCL? No. Nawaf, sell Havertz and get Harrison or Mora? No. Lucas Moura's at risk of playing tomorrow. I mean, there's every chance he'll be left out of the Tottenham team, actually. I don't mind Havertz to Harrison. I think that's fine. Tation says, what's up, mate? Would you captain Son or Antonio if you had both? I mean, if you have a look at the screen, my friend, I've got both. J Photography, Sancho for Son and Grealish for Ben Rama. I'm in a very complicated situation. I don't understand what you want to get Sancho in for Son. You want to get Son in for Sancho. Do you mean Benrahma in for Grealish? I'm not quite sure which way round you're asking the question. I assume you want Son and Benrahma. I don't hate it, but if you have Jadon Sancho sitting there for 2 weeks, or do you actually want to get Sancho for Son? You don't want to get Sancho for Son this week, surely. RBKK2009 had 2 free transfer done. Mahrez to Benrahma, considering Jota Rafinha this week to bank cash for Ings Lukaku next week. Great. Joey Covers, with all the premium options in the upcoming weeks, do you think it's viable to keep Trent or use these funds further up the pitch, rotating premiums, etc.? Don't have the info yet. I'm not in a rush to get rid of Trent. It might be that it becomes expendable, but as I've said previously, he'll probably outscore every midfielder at the same price, and you should remember that. So it might mean we're all playing about 4. Stuart Bell, would you bench Ayling or Harrison? Definitely play Harrison, mate. AK Cosmic Cason, why not Captain Son? Reason, I've explained. Rewind. Nawaf, sell Havertz and I've done that one, mate. The repeat questions, you just get muted. Simple as. Forum said, next week I planned Jimenez for Ings and Harrison Adama for Smith Rowe. I suggest you wait. So yeah, there's every chance I'll be going Ings to Jimenez next week, but I won't be going Ings to Jimenez if FIFA rule the Mexican out of game week 4. Laxman says, should I do Veltman to Semedo, Kilman or Cucho to 4.5? I have 3 Brighton players and 2 free transfers. Help me, James. If you've already got 2 Brighton, I wouldn't add Zakiri. I'd go with a different one, mate. But that's a quick way to free up funds. Kilman is a little bit risky. I like him. I thought he played well against Tottenham last week, and I don't think he deserved to lose the shirt. But Bolly and Mosquera are back in training as well, so it's a little bit risky. Semedo, I think it's worth paying the more for, but do you really want a 5.0 Wolves defender? I think at the moment, go down to the 4.5, not Zakiri, a different one, anyone. It probably doesn't matter, mate. And just take a little bit of time to think about it. Ricard says, hey James, Ings and Mahrez for Kane and Sarr, or Ings and Fernandes for Kane and Benrahma. I also have Antonio trying to make a plan to get Ronaldo. So the reason you want Kane is because you want to get to Ronaldo. Sounds like the plan. A Ronaldo who at the time of recording, you don't know what price is going to be just yet. We can all have a sensible guess. I don't want you to bin Danny Ings this week, honestly. I really don't. RBK20, with so many similar teams, could engineering a week 7 without a wildcard be a big strategic advantage? Yes, it could be. Yes, it could be. I'm kind of 7 or 14, 15 in my thinking at the moment. Depends how I sit when I get to 6, 7, I think. Geolux Lucis, would you rather bench Ayling or Jota for this week? Ayling. 11 Iron Ross Kenny, thanks James. Sounds like minus is the way forward. Patrick Lawson, hi James, would you start Sarr or Ayling? I'd start Sarr, mate. Oliver Key, have a look at the bench and dilemma screen. Brian Lloyd, good morning James. Are we likely to get any City news before 11? There's something I will check quickly, but I would say probably not. No, unlikely. 10 minutes or so to deadline, guys. Make sure you get locked in. Brian Lloyd says, I've got Mahrez and Torres. Congratulations. I've seen teams knocking about with 3 Man City midfielders this week, actually. Joe Knight, I would bench Ayling over Shaw. Privilege says, give Tony another chance against Villa. My instinct is yes. Dylan Gregory, who's the best replacement for Mahrez? Have 0 in the bank and already have Benrahma. If you only got 1 free transfer, I would hold Riyad Mahrez. Yes, otherwise possibly Benrahma. There is a small risk that he could miss game week 4. J-Lord Bros, mind you, both Algerian, aren't they? So they could both miss out. J-Lord Broski, hey James, hope all's good. City to take Mo out for Bruno from -4. Going to wildcard next week is getting the goat in. Stay safe, bro. I wouldn't say it's silly, but no, I'm not keen on that, mate. 1 week. If Bruno had an amazing fixture, yeah. He doesn't. It's a no from me. Arabia says, Harvey Barnes, give him another chance for the long term since nice fixtures. He's definitely getting this week for me. Zubin says, Tony Tapuki in game week 5. I don't hate that. Norwich have a good fixture swing from game week 5, actually, that's sustainable for 7, 8 weeks. Norwich players will come on our radar next couple of weeks, I think. Ahmed Hussain, Livramento or Duffy. If you're starting one this week, Duffy. If you're buying Livramento. Tim Salter, can we get an update on some players in Manchild's team? Not now, but possibly after deadline if you pop it in the chat again, Tim. James98. Do you think the performance of Alonso means that Chilwell is now less of an option, even when he comes back in the team, as there might be more of a rotation risk later in the season? That is possible. Yeah, I mean, Marcus Alonso's done okay in the 2 games, although he's not been overly tested defensively. Let's see how he gets on today, right, against Trent and Salah. That might influence things. Partenape says, Dele or Antonio to captain. Antonio all day, mate. Anthony Walter Thomas, thanks for the content. Just put the armband on Antonio rather than Son and swap Dean for Diaz. Fingers crossed. Good luck. Khalid Amro, thanks Joe Finley Batter, by the way, mate. I see you. Khalid Amro, if I have two transfers and I only use one, will I get the other carried on? Yes. FPL Soccer Crazy, don't forget to like this excellent stream. Thank you very much, my friend. Yeah, give the stream a like, the channel a subscribe, help share the Planet FPL love, we'd appreciate it. Jordy Kev, brother, Ings, Antonio, Salah, Bruno for Capsy. What you saying? Thank you. I'm saying have a look at the screen, mate. Talons Flamed 1, Rafinha or Greenwood to Ben Rama, or keep the free transfer. Keep the free transfer. Sam 8 Mac, who to swap Mahrez out for? I'd keep for another week if you only got one free. M2301, Veltman White and Shimikas on my bench. Jesus, yikes. Go with 2 defenders or replace one of these. If replaced, what would you do? I would sell Shimikas for Livramento. And keep your fingers crossed that Southampton might keep a clean sheet today. Which you won't expect. But generally, that's what I would do. Or I would bin Veltman for the same player. That's where I'd be at the moment. Paf Marathon, shall I bring in Adam to replace Tony? Please advise. I think you mean Armstrong. That's going to be a no from me. Hamid, Bruno and Tony to Barnes or Mount and Kane as captain for -4. I would rather bring in Barnes than Mount this week, personally, but you may regret that if Barnes doesn't do well this week. If you really want to captain Harry Kane, take the -4. Kunal says, hey James, thanks in advance for the help. Is Dyer worth the 0? I'm pretty sure I've done that one. Please no repeat questions, guys. It's annoying and it blocks other people. Amaral says, hey, do you think Mahrez will start? I'm going to say yes. Another Amaral. There's 2 Amarals. How amazing. If Barnes blanks this game, will you transfer him out? Probably. There's every chance I'll transfer him out, even if he does well. Jordy Kev, who wins in a fight? Salah and Kane versus Lukaku and Bruno. Lukaku and Bruno. Nicholas says, would you play Ayling or Livramento? I would play Ayling. Mugsy Poop, on wildcard, transfer out DCL for Bamford and upgrade Livramento to Ayling as a result. So you want to force in Leeds players, which I don't mind. They've got a great swing from game week 5, actually, Leeds. I'm not keen on Bamford. And I'm not keen on Bamford because I just think Harrison and Rafinha are great options. So I think if I was going, I'd still go DCL, actually. Rickaz says, please help. Ings and Mahrez for Kane and Saul. Ings, have done this one. I'm absolutely certain we've done this one. Kuno says, thanks a lot. No problems. Jerry Bakari, start Duffy or Ayling this week. Refers to benching dilemma screen. That says Ayling to me. Savravan, Richarlison, probably staying not an FPL option in this minute, in my opinion. Great. Lost me Fred. Definitely lost my Fred. Fucking miles behind. Sorry, guys. I don't know what the laughs are for, but I appreciate the laughs. Oh, the misses. Amaral, hey James, do you think Mahrez will start? Because I'm planning to change to Sterling. Renegade says Rebellion. Yes, I think Mahrez will probably start. Thanks, guys. AK saying Bamford for the win. Zubin, Tony Tapuki in game week 5. Yes, possibly, but worry about it when we get there. Bark until I die. Arnold or Amati? Trent, mate. James 98. Mings over Bamford. Have a word, James. Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. Hitman saying, wifey, you legend. Bless her. She is. Abdin Sir Omar. I'm benching Trent for... Yeah, good luck for that. No, is the answer. Ribwan, Salah and Jota out for Kane and Mahrez. No. Mahrez just give you just as big a headache. If you got Man City players right now, don't sell, don't buy. Done. Rob Tilson, she sounds hilarious. Are you going to do a stream together? We did a podcast together on Patreon a little while ago, and we will do another one at some point for the patrons. Probably the most popular patron podcast we've done, actually. Stian Bosdale, oi, question. Sanchez or Martinez? If Martinez now benched Tony and played... Stian, there is no way in the world that you came in here and asked a question and didn't look at the benching dilemmas. Come on, my man, it's on there. AK says Son should be free to roam against Watford. Did you watch Spurs the other night? Faram says, I respect you. You are so caring for your wife. You answered her well. We'll subscribe and watch all your videos now. Regards, another female FPL gamer. Thanks for... I mean, we row a lot. I'm not going to lie. Jack Tasker, Rob, think they did a podcast together a month or so ago. Yeah, Andy P, thanks for answering my precious question. Talking Sky Fantasy. Do I transfer Shimikas out? No transfers now, mate. Literally zero. No reason to make a transfer. I'll move on. Lee J Fraser, that's for Sky Fantasy. Lee J Fraser, morning James. Fellow Spurs fan, I've got Kane, Antonio and Bamford up top. Son and Ben Rama as 2 of my 4 mids. Lot, help me pick 2 from Rafinha, Barnes and Greenwood, please. Up Spurs. By default, right now, I have to say Barnes and Greenwood. By default. I've got this nagging feeling I need to check my team for some reason. Rehat says Aileen Amati, Yashop, Livramento or Gundogan, AK, Region over Aileen question. If you own both, you play Reggie this week. Hasser says, am I crazy for think nothing's crazy? Thinking Bruno might haul big after a horrific draw to Southampton. No, Bruno can haul any week, mate. Paul Robertson, nice cameo from your wife, James. That was hilarious. Thank you, James. Morning, James. Best of luck this week. Am I crazy having no West Ham this week? No, you're doing it, mate, but it might hurt. Christopher says play Tony or Trent. That's a proper good question. I'd play Trent, mate. It's one of them. Trent doesn't get left out, mate. It's one of them rare ones where you leave out the forward, as far as I'm concerned. Ahmad says Rafinha captain. Not really my thing, that, mate. But yeah, I don't mind. It's a decent week to punt. Salah says, hi James, start Iheanacho over TNA. I would be surprised if Iheanacho started. If he does, it's gold, but no, play Trent, mate. Charlie says Kane or Son as captain. My preference would be Kane out of the 2. Richard Benson, hello my friend. Tony to DCL or bank and wait another week. I'd bank. Can start Basuma. It's not ideal starting Basuma. I'd bank Rich. William can only start 3. Have Trent, Shaw, Aileen, Amati, Shimikas at the first 3. Jack Tasker he's given advice. Jack, if you're going to give advice to people, that's cool, mate, but please at them so I know to just skip your message. Thank you, mate. Ridwan says Salah and Jota out for Kane and Mahrez. We've done that. Make it 2 minutes to deadline, guys. Abin Shah, is he reading every comment in order? Trying to, mate. Sam BB, Tony and Greenwood for Zakiri and Son. You want to sell Son? Which way round you doing this, Sam? I wouldn't be selling Son now. Prieri says Amati or Alien, done that a million times. Green arrow every week. Should I keep Barnes? Yeah, you might get a green arrow this week. Rashid says, will Morris start today? Only done that 99 times. Luxury, Davinson Sanchez I think would be a good cheap pick. Yep, think ahead. Remember Christian Romero, mate. Ahmed Hussein, best Shimikas replacement. Got no more money in the bank. Livramento. Rashad, is Kane good differential cappy? Well, of course he is. Sam says, Tony, I've done that already, Sam. Honestly, mate. Tarang, thoughts on Cancelo? A rotation risk every single week. Rishbash says, have 1 free transfer. Should I sell White as his price is dropping? You come this far, keep Ben White. You'll thank me for it in a couple of weeks. Qatari Cool says, should I transfer out Veltman to Tanganga for a hit? No. Just leave that be. Just go without a defender if necessary. Carlos says, here, the Colombian with another random question. What secret conspiracy would you like to start? That Tottenham defenders are good FPL assets. Adil says, Alien or Shaw? Shaw, a wrench, Harry Kane in. But for who? Chris Port, hi James, start Barnes or Tony this week? Tony. Honestly. Jordan says, got 2 free transfers, rolled them over, use 1 on Shimikas. Yeah, go. Mina says, selling Mahrez and Obafemi and get Antonio and play other 6 million midfielders. Is that good? Please help me. Jack Harrison is a suggestion for you. Luxury Lifestyle, Davinson Sanchez would be a great cheap centre-back this week. He got me good points last week. Okay, let's hope he plays. I think he will, but it's not worth the risk. Dano says, should I get rid of Barnes or get rid of White or Shimikas? Chat. Shimikas, bin. Sam, they've done it loads of times, mate. Honestly, big respect to you, mate, but I can't deal with his repeat questions just blocking other people. Jack Tasker is replying to someone. Jack, as I said, please at the people. CCL, thoughts on SARS and FPL option? Yeah, could be very good from game week 4, actually. May even be good from this week. Arabia says, Barnes or Ward-Prowse are differential this week. Harvey Barnes for me. Adam says, Delhi over Ian Asho. Yes, Adam Gearin, your missus coming in cracked me up. I played my free hit this week. Have some fun. Think the low scoring week could be a nice time to back those with decent fixtures. Mina says, selling Mahrez. Done that one. Luxury says, Davis, done that one. It's good. He had loads of people getting muted in this chat. Ahmad says, Fernandes to Greenwood and Ings to Kane. It sounds like you're trying to force in Kane. I don't want people to lose Danny Ings this week, to be honest. Jason says Williams or Livramento. Depends if you're bothered about the 0.1 or not. FPL Hitman says 300 odd watching. Like the stream, guys, much appreciated. I make it. Deadline has arrived probably about a minute ago, actually. That's it for FPL questions. All the repeat questioners, I'll give you a chance to go back and delete your questions. Otherwise, you just get permanently muted from the stream, because denying other people the chance to get their question answered, unfortunately. If anybody's got any non-FPL questions, throw it into the chat. I'll answer them for 10-15 minutes or so. I'm not hanging around for half hour because I want to take my son to the park for a bit. But yeah, if you've got any non-FPL questions, feel free to pop them in the chat and I'll cover now while I'm waiting for them to come through. Main podcast on Monday, reviewing all the Game Week 3 action. Tuesday will be our People's Poll podcast. It will probably be something transfer window related. Wednesday, Sky Fantasy Football. We're going to have a really deep look at a watch list for overhaul, and then the following week in Sky, we're going to look in more detail at the fixtures. Thursday's clash of correspondence will be Leeds versus Liverpool with Andy Martin and Dan Lord. Friday, I'll be streaming again, 3 p.m. probably with my Ash James stream. Remember, there is no FPL next weekend. International football. Game week 4 deadline is 11 a.m. on the second Saturday in September, whatever that is. If you want to support Planet FPL, you can on Patreon. We'll be very grateful if you do so. Don't join our Patreon to become a better FPL manager. The community will help you. We don't profess to be FPL experts. We just enjoy playing and talking about the game. If you do want to sign up, it's towards the end of the month. Anybody who does sign up between now and the 31st, I will refund your money because I don't want anyone getting charged twice in a week. So if you want to support Planet FPL content on Patreon, you can. Additional podcasts from intermediate tier and above. Be Q&A on Monday. Tuesday's probably going to be a first look at UEFA Champions League fantasy. Wednesday will be our regular Tottenham podcast. Thursday is a quiz that's being done by one of our patrons, Joe Murphy. And Friday, I don't know what we're going to do Friday yet. And there's additional videos from advanced tier as well, which is probably going to include a group Zoom call with my advanced tiers this coming Friday. Right, let's see who's in the chat. Also got something special. Our older listeners will like this podcast coming up on Tuesday the 8th of September. Keep your eye on the socials in the next couple of weeks. Something completely un-FPL related that those who like us to go down rabbit holes will enjoy, I'm certain. Emil says, are you getting Ronaldo for game week 4? I have no idea at this moment, mate. Deadly Man is forget your transfer questions. Deadline's gone. Essence deadline's passed. Cheers, Joe. Appreciate that. Stian, what did I miss with the wife? How far do I have to go back? I have no idea, mate. 20 minutes or so. I don't know. Lewis Hawkins, morning, James. You're predicting Man United to lose away from home. Cheers. Yeah, I realise. The thing is, look, do I you know, if Wolves play Man United 100 times, do I think Wolves beat Man United more often than not? No, of course not. I would rather not be boring with my predictions. I would rather say, like, am I surprised if Man United beat Wolves this weekend? No, of course not. I'd rather not be boring when I think there's a possibility that Wolves might turn them over. I'm conscious of this record as well, the fact that they beat the record if they avoid defeat last week. And I was very impressed with Wolves last week. It shouldn't have lost to Tottenham. So they might be, I think they're really worth looking at from next week from an FPL perspective and beyond. I think they could have a good run and a good spell, actually. So yes, I think Wolves could win. 11 Iron Ross Kenny, non-FPL, do you like the Spurs away kit? What's your favourite Spurs shirt? Any shirt? Excuse me. It's not that bad. Like, I don't hate it. Like, I've worn it once. In fact, I've worn it twice. I wore it for the Deadline stream game week 1, and I wore it when we had the meet up in July. I haven't worn it to any of the games. I'm not going to wear it to the game tomorrow. Am I saying I'll never wear it? No. I don't hate it. also don't really like it. He looks fine on the players, by the way. It doesn't bother me that much. Favourite Spurs shirt was navy blue Adidas shirt in 2000-2001. It was a great shirt, Holston on the front. That's Tottenham way it should be, that navy blue. Perfect shade of navy blue. White three stripes, nice. Tim Salter, country you want to holiday to? Albania, mate. Next May. Liam H says, prefer ketchup on mayo with chips. That's an interesting one because for nearly everything, I'm more of a ketchup man from mayo. But I'm not huge with ketchup with chips. Probably mayo, actually. Essen says, do you think Ronaldo will win the Golden Boot now that he's here? No. No, I don't. I think Kane or Lukaku will win the Golden Boot, honestly. Mike King, have you started Christmas shopping? Listen, ask me that on 23rd of December. You probably get the same answer, mate. James98 says, who's your top 3 players of all time? For me, it's Messi, Maradona, on 9 in that order. So I can't put Maradona in there, James, because what I saw of him as a kid was that 94 Maradona and a later Maradona. So I can't put him in there. I can't be picking players from video clips and stuff. It just doesn't do justice. So I have to go from my playing era. So the first two straightforward, and it's Messi over Ronaldo. Third, really difficult. I think the original Ronaldo is certainly worth a shout. I think Ronaldinho. I think the one for me probably is Zidane. I think. Who, okay, wasn't an amazing goal scorer or anything, but he's grace. I've never seen a midfield player like that. I think Zidane would probably be third for me. Hello, Deadly Mantis. Shout out to you in New Zealand. FPL Hitman says, if Ronaldo, probably 12.513, had come in pre-FPL release initial prices, do you think Bruno gets priced cheaper, like maybe 11.5, or he still comes in at the current price given the season he had? I think probably the same. And I say that because Mane and Salah's quite close together, right? So I think probably the same. Could you have had Bruno at cheaper than Sadio Mane? I don't think you could have. Tim Salter, worst birthday present ever. No one buys me fuck all, to be honest, Tim. Worst birthday present ever. Sometimes you get things that when you were a kid and you're like, I'm not... I'm not doing anything with that. It's always shit you don't want. There's never anything I've had and I thought that is horrific. Have you ever seen the video of the kid? I'm pretty sure he's American, who gets a book at Christmas. A book? Another book? Why would I want a book? I can't think of anything. Tim says, first goal scorer for Brighton v Everton. Let's go for Leandro Trossard. Immortal Technique. Mrs. James comes in around 39 minutes from start. Cheers. Essen says, which UCL group do you think is tougher? City, PSG, Leipzig, Bruges, or Porto, Milan, Athletic, Liverpool? Well, I think Liverpool's. Purely because Man City does become a little bit awkward because realistically, with respect, it's a 3-team group, whereas the others can take points off each other. I mean, Porto are one that always kind of flirts with getting through to the last 16, but you never fancy them to do anything. And Liverpool have Liverpool got Porto? They have a good record against them in the past, haven't they? Liverpool got Porto? Yeah, they do. I've got a good... Milan, first time back in it, they'll be well up for it. Athletic's tough, obviously. And obviously, I'm not Liverpool out the other year. I think Liverpool got the tougher of that. Put it this way, I'd say, can you foresee a circumstance where City don't qualify? And I'd say, can you foresee a circumstance where Liverpool don't qualify? I think Liverpool got it tougher. I think they'll get through, but I think Liverpool got it tougher. Jad Mayers, who should I sell? Greenwood. Deadline's gone, Jad. Jonathan James, mate, you owe me 10 quid from last week saying back Cork over Limerick. Thanks for all the great content, pal. I hope you have a great game week. DM me your details and no, I won't, mate. Linish says, hi, Liverpool fan here. Really love that Spurs away kit. Pete Haley, will you be going to the away game at Brentford? It's a really good stadium. There's a proper good vibes there at the moment. And the Spurs shirt looks a bit like a 90s mouse mat. Well, we don't play Brentford away till April, and I suspect it probably won't be easy to get a ticket, but the intention would be to apply, yes. Atul says, hey James, after watching the first 2 weeks, which teams do you think will be a part of the relegation battle? Nothing's changed my opinion on that, particularly. I still think for Norwich, Watford and Brentford, it's going to be very, very tough. Very, very tough. Irish Maverick, hi James, would you start Ayling or Barnes? I would have started Harvey Barnes if the deadline wasn't 11 minutes ago. 11 Iron Ross Kenny, I love it. Want a long sleeve of this away shirt. I've got your fave shirt in long sleeve. Makes me think of Poyet Anderton. I don't think Gus Poyet wouldn't have worn that shirt, mate. No, came the summer afterwards. Ryan says brown sauce or tomato sauce. That's tomato sauce, mate. None of this brown sauce stuff, mate. That's for people north of Watford Gap. Stian says sweet chili mayo with chips. The bomb. Sorry, hungover and hungry. Dave Lister, Captain Kane for Sunday. For Sky, I presume you mean Dave. I mean, look, if you've got Harry Kane, you go with that, don't you? I think you absolutely do. To bring him in, not worth it. Thelma says, James, no Cantona in that list. What, as in greatest 3 players of all time? No, it wouldn't be anywhere near it, mate. And I think higher of Eric Cantona than most people do. Wonderful player. Changed a lot of stuff in the Premier League. Was so influential. Brilliant player. But in the 3 greatest players I've ever seen? No. Deadly Mantis, the question was all time, not your time. Messi wouldn't make top 5 all time. Okay. Do pop in the chat, Deadly, who would be the 5 players better of all time, better than Lionel Messi. 1992, anyone know if DCL is playing? I think he'll play. James Owen got a wedding today. Liverpool game and speeches both at 5:30. Might have to have an AirPod in. Either that or match of the day challenge. Just put it on your phone on the table in front of you, mate. Adam says bought in Ali instead of Rafinha. Jota out. Thoughts? You've done it, mate. So I've not got any thoughts on it, but good luck. Yaga says wildcard next week. It's not in my thinking. Pepsi says morning James. Ben Rama a good captain Sky today. There's no Antonio. It's reasonable. I think I'd go Diaz over Antonio if I had. Yeah, it's reasonable. Patrick said, I told you Limerick would win. Gary Mantle says, morning James, just woken up. Have you discussed Sky at all? Just so I can rewind. Diaz didn't get much consideration in your Sky stream. Just wonder if you've had any further thoughts on him as cap. I mean, yeah, I think it's just a case of, I think they're probably the best 2 today in Sky, Antonio and Diaz. And I'm going Antonio. I'm not going against it again. It burnt me on the Sunday the first week, so I'm not going to go and get that burnt again. So if I didn't have Antonio, Captain Diaz, yeah, absolutely, mate. To be honest, there's nothing overly to discuss with Sky at the moment, because obviously the overhaul being so early in the season. But we're going to do some real detail in the next 2 weeks. I feel like the Sky season starts this week. Ryan says the disrespect to brown sauce actually offended. Sorry, mate. Asfel says of Captain Rafinha too risky. I mean, what's the point now? You've made your choice. There's no point having regrets. You've made a choice. Just crack on. Ray Koreshi says if Kane were to start, James, who drops to the bench? Bergwijn. Well, I think it might be Lucas tomorrow. Just based on what I watched at Wolves and the fact that Bergwijn got a break in midweek. So I think it might be Lucas that misses out. But I mean, I wouldn't be overly surprised if all 4 played. Bergwijn, Lucas, Sonny and Kane. And he took a chance and played Dele Alli deeper. It's a possibility. That's something else we haven't seen. He's played 3 different formations in the last 3 games. So, I mean, I wouldn't rule that out as a possibility. I think it's probably Lucas misses out tomorrow. Stewie Bryan, do you think Cristiano signing is another Alexis Sanchez? No, I don't, mate. The mentality of the 2 players is very different. Martin King says Pep's potential replacement. This won't go down well. Maurizio Pochettino. Could be. We'll leave it there. Thanks very much, guys. I wish you all the very best of luck. Yeah, I don't do rate my squads, mate. Don't even tweet it to me because I just skip that stuff. But I wish you luck. If you enjoyed the vid, give it a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe channel. As I said, if you'd like to support our content on Patreon, we'd love you to join us. If anybody does join between now and the 1st September, I will refund any payments that are made as new, because I don't want anyone getting charged twice in a week. Other than that, we'll be back with the main pod on Monday. I wish you all the very, very best of luck for game week 3. Good luck, everyone. Ciao for now.